This guy is Michel Delgado. He's an artist, a painter, and a kind of scientist with a unified theory of everything. He has a brilliant Kickstarter campaign for you to support, but he has no way to make a video. No hardware, no software, no money to pay someone. His bigger problem would be to narrate it. The night he called, that's what concerned him. How can I narrate a video like all the other artists on Kickstarter can do, he asked. Michel speaks slowly in a half-whisper, and his mixture of native Senegalese and French has given his English an exotic phrasing. It can be challenging to understand him on tape. And this is a shame because Michel is a brilliant thinker with visionary sight and a very innovative use of English. Michel made an important discovery a few years back, and if it had been a discovery of hidden reserves of petroleum or gold, the whole world would have known about it instantly. I told him people on Kickstarter wouldn't care about the quality of this video after hearing this story, and his plan to reach out to the world through Kickstarter to help him fund the paintings and spread the message about what he calls the gum spotting experience was amazing and engaging. Besides, he had lots of videotape laying around where people could see what he looked like or where and how he painted, like that clip of film he had of himself standing in the street late at night, just holding a camera on himself and slowly turning around. Michel was living and painting in Chicago when this all first happened. It was a day he felt chewed up and forgotten by life, and he noticed gum splats everywhere he stepped. Someone, he realized, had spit this gum from their mouth onto the sidewalk because it had lost its taste. People just open their mouths for a piece of gum, he thought, and like any habit they chew away to get to the other side of some void. And when they get to where they need to go, they don't think twice about spitting it out instead of swallowing it. But gum is not gone, he explained. It is still there for the rest of the world. A lot will get buried on top of these gum splats. Rain, sun, and dirt pound the hell out of it if it's not rescued and just stays there waiting. I watched all this gum grabbing people by the bottom of their shoes, he said, and suddenly forcing them to hustle through it or remove it altogether. I thought about all this gum that once was so alive because it was flexed on the palate, against the roof of the mouth and by the tip of the tongue. Painting moves inside me like this, he said, in all its different forms, colors, hardness, and experience. The more I chew it, the more flavors I taste, and the more texture there is in the reality of my art. Michel continued with his plan. The Chewed Up, Spit Out, and Forgotten campaign is all about hustling with what you've got. I want it to help me raise $6,800 to paint a series of 36 original paintings and create a unique event and art field guide about the gum spotting experience. I'll use the process and technique I developed when I first explored the way to make these paintings. I take photographs of gum splats, transfer the image onto paper vellum, burn a silk screen with the paper vellum, hand print the screen on Archer watercolor paper using black ink. Then I paint into and around the black image, never using any other black anywhere in the painting but that which is the gum impression itself. The money I raise on Kickstarter will let me return to this technique, and with some finer materials I will be able to execute them in a larger and more diverse range. Michel says, and this is a quote, "You have to just hustle with gum, like you do with life. Sometimes you get all into the gum of living and you just have to chew the hell out of something, whether you mean to or not, but it will drive you to where you need to be." Then he adds, and this is a second quote, "When gum loses its ability to adapt, it gets destroyed." Yet there it was on the sidewalk, still ready to become something new and good, still ready to reveal something hopeful. Michel will do 36 paintings in 3 different format groups: 12 large-sized 23 by 22-inch paintings, 12 medium-sized 22 by 18-inch paintings, and 12 small-sized 20 by 14-inch paintings. All the paintings will be done in mixed media on Archer's watercolor paper. The number 12 is sublime to Michel, and he says he chose to dance with it as a partner through every part of this endeavor. To make all this happen, Michel needs your help, and he has created many wonderful ways for thanking and rewarding you, including ownership of the original paintings, limited edition lithographed prints, a unique printed guide on the gum spotting experience, and a few other amazing gifts you can see in the giving list below. You chew gum?
I do, yeah.
You spit it out?
I love to, yeah. I mean, I like that fact, because people then think it's funny, but watching someone who's not seeing you step on the gum or sit down on it, that's even, I find it very, it's very something that little can really throw you off. It's not liquid, it's not, you don't know what to do with it, and that's very interesting, because it's an interesting story, you know. When I was little, we used to sleep in the same bed, my cousins and my brother sometime, and what was interesting about it is sometimes one of us used to fall asleep with a gum in our mouths, and then the next day you find that in one of us hair. I mean, it's so violating. Number one, to go to bed with a gum in your mouth. Number two, you end up with someone else's gum in your hair, and it's awful, that experience, because it's so personal, you know. And you know, there it is, you know, they're trying to get it off your hair, they can navigate around it, so what they have to do is cut the junk off your hair, take that whole thing. So when I take all of that experience all the way back from there, what makes it interesting for me, you know, it's the same thing. We're getting the same experience than the universe getting after you throw these things out. He has to hustle with this experience, your trash, you know. Now he has to be responsible for that, to find a place on the ground to keep it. So, and it goes on and on and on, and I think so that's what makes this metaphor very interesting, I think.